Roll call.
Mr. Bellman?
Here.
Mr. Falk?
Yes.
Mrs. Gallagher? Here. Mr. Napier?
Here. The adoption of the agenda, and there are several items that we need to there's a couple items we need to postpone. We are postponing item P from the superintendent's consent agenda. We are postponing the item 12, the executive session, until next month, which is the evaluation of our treasurer. Also, we're pulling items E and G from the superintendent's consent agenda as well. Did I miss anything? Hey,
Need a motion.
need a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Mrs. Gallagher?
Yes.
Mr. Falk?
Yes.
Mr. Bellman?
Yes.
Mr. Napier?
Yes. Need a motion for the approval of minutes. Well, actually, I'm sure you've read those over. For special meetings in April 19th, 25th, 28th, and the regular meeting of April 12th.
What a move.
What a great one.
What a month. Second. We'll get that out of the way.
Mr. Bellman?
Yes.
Mr. Falk?
Yes.
Mrs. Gallagher?
Yes.
Mr. Napier?
Yes. Public participation. We do not have this.
We have one question on what taken.
Under item 6, the special accommodations, that word. We need a motion to approve the following donations: $300 from Knox Port Council to the FFA for banquet expenses, and $1,250 from Fredericktown Young Farmers to the FFA.
So moved.
Second. With many thanks.
Yes.
Mr. Falk?
Yes.
Mrs. Gallagher?
Yes.
Mr. Bellman?
Yes.
Mr. Napier?
Yes.
Okay.
You have a treasurer's report this evening?
I have a lengthy treasurer's report this evening.
3 minutes.
Okay.
Public policy, 3 minutes.
Okay. I will try to speak quickly, but that won't happen. Okay, the expenditures for April. The expenditures did exceed revenue by $450,000 for the month of April. This was mainly due to large medical claims. We purchased some Chromebooks. Of course, our ESC monthly services, large increase to fuel cost, also an increase to our utilities, and we had a bond payment in the month of April. When comparing fiscal 21 to 22, revenue has increased by $670,000, and expenditures also increased by $377,000. The increase in revenue is due to the district hitting the 20 mil floor, which generates new revenue for the district. And also the large contributor is the many of the federal grants that the district did receive during the fiscal year. The general fund cash balance is currently 8.5% higher than fiscal 21, which I will go over that when I get more into the 5-year forecasts, which is one of my items on the agenda this evening. We did receive our medical insurance premiums for fiscal 23. We are receiving a 3.55% increase in medical insurance. This, I was expecting between a 2 to, well, I had in the forecast a 3%, so it came in just a tad bit higher than expected. Still, compared to a lot of other districts, 3.5% is a very modest increase. Granted that the last 2 years we've received 0% increases. So a 3.5% increase, I will take that over a 15 or a 20% increase, which some districts have received. The other items that I have on the agenda is my forecast. And you have a 23-page book that I prepared for you for the forecast. I'm going to start out by saying that the forecast is a planning tool that I use for the Fredericktown School District. It reflects 3 years of actual data regarding general operations, so it's general fund only. It does not include any grants, any other fund, does not include like PI or bond or anything of that sort. It's just general fund only. And so we have the 3-year actual, then 5 years of estimates, starting with fiscal 22. House Bill 412 requires that the forecast be filed with the Ohio Department of Education in November and May of each year. The general fund makes up 71% of the total district budget, and it's based on fiscal years, which the fiscal year is July 1 through June 30. So keep that in mind when I'm going through the forecast, that it is based on fiscal year, not a calendar year. And the forecast is broken down into 2 separate categories. So the top part is all of the revenue, and then the bottom part, or the second section, is all of the expenditures. The estimates are, I would say, conservative, and really no way to guarantee that this is what's going to happen in estimated years. The forecast that I'm presenting tonight, I am going to focus really on how we're ending fiscal 22, and then when I file again in November, that'll be how I'm going to project 23. At that point, it'll be 23 through 27, and that'll be the forecast that'll take place in November. So fiscal 22, it is projected that we will end with a revenue surplus. This means that expenditures are going to be less than the revenue, and it's approximately $723,000. By the last year of the forecast, FY26, the district will go into deficit spending, where expenditures are going to exceed the revenue, and it'll be close to $80,000 that will be in deficit spending by fiscal 26. At that time, we'll take a look to see if anything needs to be cut and where it can be cut. But again, this forecast is fluid and ever changing, and when I present again in November, most likely it'll be different than what I'm presenting now. The cash balance at the end of fiscal 22 is projected to improve by fiscal 26. And I will state that a worsening cash balance can erode the district's financial stability over these years. So now I'm going to get more into the forecast itself, and I'm going to go kind of line by line. So lines 1.01 and 1.05, those are our property taxes. So this area did experience an 8% growth in FY21, and this is mainly due to us hitting the 20 mil floor. When, as I stated earlier, when the district hits the 20 mil floor, it generates new revenue to the district. And that revenue stays with the district. It will not drop. The only way that it'll drop is if we go above the 20 mil floor, but I do not project us going below the 20 mil floor. Property tax is about 29.4% of total revenue for the district. And currently, we are at a tax collection rate of 99.4%. So that means 0.6% is delinquent, which is kind of amazing for a small community of this size. So, all right, so line 1.02. This is your public utility. This is anything that is exactly how it states. It is utilities within Knox or within Fredericktown. So any kind of additions or depreciation that will either increase or decrease what we call it PUB. it'll affect this line item. Pub makes up about 4% of our total revenue. If we had a utility like Columbia Gas or AEP in Fredericktown, we would be a heavily pub district, but we don't have anything of that size here. That would be all in Mount Vernon. 1.035, unrestricted grant or state aid. State aid did increase in FY '22 by 1.1%. That was really based on the fair share school funding plan, or how the new funding formula. It changed to where kids were now funded where the kids are actually educated. So the open enrollment line, which was in another category, which that line went down and this line went up, and I'll go over that. So if a kid is open enrolled, that money now flows directly to us instead of flowing to the district and then that district taking it out of their foundation and then flowing to us. So now it all flows directly to us. We did experience where we lost 24 kids from fiscal 20 to 22. That was about a $175,000 decrease in funding for us by losing 24 kids. Any questions so far? Okay. Line point 104, this is restricted aid. This line went up considerably. This is due to the student wellness funds being now funded through general fund. It was 2 years ago when student wellness first came into play. It was a grant, and it was in Fund 467. And we received right around $167,000 in student wellness funds at that time. This is where we pay our nurse, we pay our SRO, and a lot of our, I would say, the nurses' supplies, hygiene. We even paid some of the PPE out of this fund as well. We can even pay our social worker out of this fund if we choose to. This, with the student success and wellness funds now being moved to general fund, you'll see that large increase, where last year we received $63,000 in restricted funds, and this year we received $327,000. Also, gifted funds are now considered restricted funds. So gifted funds also flow into the restricted category. And gifted will be its own separate reporting. So at the end of the year, at June 30, that'll be a whole separate report that I have to give to ODE, showing what we collected and what we spent for gifted services. So our gifted teacher and any ESC services that we receive for gifted will come out of that category, and we reported to ODE that we expended everything that we received. Lines 1.06, all other operating revenue. This includes tuition received from non-residential students, so this would be like our excess cost that we received or any catastrophic cost that we received for educating a student that they're still open enrolled here, but they may receive additional services as in speech, or they have their own aid. We then bill back to that home school district, and then that money flows back to us. That's in the all other operating. Also, this includes interest income and payment in lieu of taxes, which we currently have 2 companies, UMD and FT Precision, that are still on tax abatements, and they pay us directly instead of paying the property to go through property tax. And those 2 will end in 2028, I believe, that they'll go back through paying normal property taxes instead of abatements. And also, you will notice that there is a large decrease there because that's where open enrollment was funded through. So last year we received $1.6 million in this line item, and it dropped down to $343,000. That 1.6, that money flowed up to the unrestricted category, where last year we received an unrestricted 5.9 million, and this year we received 6.7. So that difference between open enroll was now moved from one category up to the other category. So it kind of makes it look a little distorted when you go to and ask why those big changes. That's why. Line 2.07, that little tiny $9,000, that was our BWC refund. In previous years, we got close to, well, one year we got 42,000, and the next year we got 35. This year we got 9,200. Not projecting really to get any more BWC refunds, since now we're paying for actual years that we were paying in arrears before. Now we're paying for the actual years that we're in. So we shouldn't be receiving any more BWC refunds. That is all of the revenue. Any questions on the revenue? Okay. The expenses, line 3.01, this is all salaries. This includes your coaches, your administration, your teachers, aides, everybody. Everyone that receives a paycheck from Fredericktown Local Schools will be part of line 3.01. Only ones that are not are the teachers or aides that are paid out of grants. They are not included within this line item, and same with food service, because food service has their own fund. So line 3.01 represents 53.42 of our total budget. So almost 54% of our total budget is salary only. Line 3.02 is employee benefits. This makes up the retirement, Medicare, workers' comp, and insurance benefits. The benefits represent 24% of the total budget. You always want to be under the 80% mark for between salary and benefits. You don't want to go over 80% of your total budget. It's just good practice. You want to keep it under that mark, and we're right at 77%. So we're under that threshold, but 24% makes up those benefits. As I stated before, the last 2 years we've received 0% increases in our medical premiums. This year we're receiving a 3.5%. There is a premium holiday built into FY23. That will save the district right around $186,000 for that 1 month of insurance premiums. So a premium holiday is where the district is really going to receive, no one pays insurance, but there's no stop. There's a large enough reserve in the self-insurance fund that the insurance fund itself will pay for the premiums for that month. So all employees will pay 0 for the month of December for medical premiums. So line 3.03, purchase services. We did receive a decrease from FY21 to FY22. This is solely because the community school and open enrollment out is no longer deducted. And this is the line item that this was taken from. So community school and open enrollment out is no more a deduction. It's how I stated, the schools are funded where they're educated. So if they go to a community school, the community school gets that funding directly. If they're open enrolled out, if we have a kid going to Clear Fork gets that money directly. It's no longer a deduction. So you'll see that decrease from FY21 to FY22. That's because of really those two deductions. Moving forward, there is an increase due to utilities going up. They're projected to go up about 6%. And some of our purchase services will also be going up starting in FY23. Our ESC invoice estimated so far is about $100,000 higher than last year. So that is built in as well. Line 3.04, supplies, materials, it is exactly as it states, it's any supply and material that the school district needs. It's increase of about 1.2 over through FY '26. The major increase in this line item is fuel cost. We currently spent right around 76,000 this year on fuel. Based on what we spent this month, or actually April in fuel, we're expecting to expend between 95 to 105,000 next year in fuel cost. And this is also where we purchase textbooks. And there is a permanent budget of 60,000 built into supplies for textbooks. So currently, we're purchasing textbooks through ESSER funds. When that is gone, then the general fund will pick that back up. Line 3.05 is capital outlay. In FY '23, we will be purchasing 2 buses. Both of them will be partially purchased with grant funds, then the remainder will come out of general fund, and that is budgeted in here. Along with the lease payment that we did last year, and that lease payment is 18,000 a year, and that's budgeted in here as well. And this is also where Chromebooks are purchased, so you'll see that fluctuation in there. Line 4.03, this is all my audit fees. So county auditor fees and my normal audit fees are built into this one. There was a slight decrease that's mainly due to the county auditor gave us a moratorium for the half of the remainder of FY '21 and the beginning of FY '22. She decreased our audit fees through the county, which was extremely generous of the county auditor, Jonette, for doing that for the whole county. As I stated, the May forecast that I'm presenting is for the end of this fiscal year. I'll file again in November, and that will be for presenting FY '23 through FY '27. It is projected that we will end this year, FY '22, with revenue exceeding expenditures by 700,000. With that being said, between salaries, benefits, fuel, utilities, it costs the district approximately $45,000 per day to operate, which equates to about $1.3 million a month. In order to carry that over that reserve, the district must be fiscally responsible and view all areas of expenditures yearly along with the revenue. The forecast is fluid, and again, most likely when I do my forecast in November, it will change slightly. And the biggest contributor to that will be if we have more students come in, that'll change the revenue, or we will be going into our triennial update in FY '23. If the county, I set up a meeting with the county treasurers and with Jonette for next Tuesday, actually, to go over what she's expecting when we go into the triennial update. She did give us all a heads up that she thinks that there will be higher delinquencies with the recession and the tax rates and everything going up. She really sees that property values are going to go down. So I'll have a better insight with that next week, while all the county treasurers will next week, to see what's really going to be projected when we go into our triennial update. And that is everything I have. Any questions on my forecast? I know it's overwhelming.
That's it?
That's it?
all you
Anybody wanted to repeat that?
Started,
Yeah, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
This is, it is, a lot goes into that, and we do appreciate you and the work that you and your office does.
Well, thank you.
So thank you, it's very well explained and, nice.
Thank you.
So, we need to make a motion for the treasurer's consent agenda minus,
Nope.
nothing here.
Nope.
Never mind.
Nope.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Bellman?
Yes.
Mrs. Gallagher?
Yes.
Mr. Folk?
Yes.
Mr. Napier?
Yes.
Thank you.
Superintendent's report.
Thank you, Paul. So we have several items on this evening that I'm asking for your support. Nothing is as complicated as the 5-year forecast. I would like to welcome our scouts and the scout leaders tonight. Thank you for being here, the work that you do. You guys, are you selling anything tonight? We can set up a table for you. No. But thank you for being here, and thank you for the work that you do throughout our community and many other communities.
This is for part of one of their badges.
That's
If you prize the public.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. And thank you.
And they have to stay awake too, right? Yeah, okay.
As she scans the
It's just-
room.
I know.
I'm sitting in front.
If you guys made it past the 5-year forecast.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's right,
yeah.
It's smooth sailing from here on
Yeah. School should come easy for you.
out. Yeah.
Hey, we have motion to approve the student voluntary insurance program, and that's an annual opportunity for our students and our student athletes to apply for that insurance. Motion to approve the service agreement with Meta. That $24,000 has not increased in the past 3 years. And again, the Final Form software from Meta is a program that we use for our athletic services, and that too has helped our athletic department in many, many ways. D is a motion to hire aides for the summer. E is motion to approve the following teacher for summer school. Now, yes, I know that we're gonna remove some of those when we get to the vote. Motion to approve again, the G. We've got 2 staff members' wives that are on that.
Mine's out.
H is motion to approve intervention for the 2023 school year, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And at the middle school, we've got Bob Moore coming out of retirement, and Susan Link coming out of retirement. At the elementary school, we've got Emily, Marla, Tiffany, Andrea, and Becky Martin for one day a week. All very solid people and have had a lot of positive experiences in this district. And we also have I, motion to approve the MOU with the Fredericktown Local School District and the Fredericktown Police Department. Folks, and you've got the details on that with your package. There's no personnel with that at this time, but that is our SRO. I think the principals may mention the safety drill that we had today, and that was directed by our SRO. And then we have the compensation for the resource officer, and that's a shared compensation. Motion to approve the following as summer custodial staff. These young people, these young men have helped out before, the custodial staff, and Father Stu was anxious to get him back on the agenda this year. I, it's motion to approve the following personnel recommendations, and that is those ladies and gentlemen have increased their education, thus they move up in the pay column. Okay, supplemental contract adjustment, then we have substitutes, and M, motion to improve the following students for college credit plus. And what a benefit that is for our students and our families. Huge benefit. And this is a motion to approve the volunteers on a field trip as chaperones for the elementary school. O, motion to approve the following summer camps through the summer. Boys basketball and band. And I noticed band is in July through the first week of August, which that timing for that is great because I no longer will be sitting at the table. I could tell you some more stories about band camp. P, motion to review the student handbook, and we're gonna table that until we have another chance to look that over very, very closely. And Mr. Gary, I've been assured that we can still get that printed for the start of school next.
Well, the email from the company says it has to be in by the 27th.
Of this month.
As long as we're okay, we can post it online, but as long as we're okay with putting the agenda this by the first week of school.
Well, I've had some guarantees prior to the meeting that it will be printed in our hands by the start of school. If not, I also, at the bottom of that, contact the new superintendent. By the way, folks, our new superintendent is in attendance. He's a great choice for this Board of Education. And I think he's gonna do marvelous things with our district and our young people. All right, Q. And deals with staffing, and we will move right ahead with that. And let's see, and we've got an addendum where we're going to approve the following teacher for a summer school teacher. Pay will be $65 an hour. And I've got a motion to approve that. And with that, that ends my report.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We need a motion to approve the superintendent's consent agenda, removing, or not removing, postponing, item P
Yeah,
and pulling E and G,
yeah,
correct?
yes.
Got it right. And reading my
So
handwriting.
moved. Second.
Mr. Bellman?
Yes.
Mr. Volk?
Yes.
Mrs. Gallagher?
Yes.
Mr. Napier?
Yes. Thank you. Committee report, or no, yeah, committee reports.
We need to
need
do
to-
10 and G.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, we gotta go back and do the basketball.
Yeah,
We gotta
10
do
E and G.
Jeez. First night on the job. Never gets old, though. All right,
It's good
items,
when you follow me.
yeah, items E and G. We need a motion.
We can put those together.
Yeah,
For E and G.
for E and G.
So moved.
Second.
Say something, you John.
Yep. Mrs. Gallagher?
Yes.
Mr. Volk?
Yes.
Mr. Napier?
Yes.
Bellman abstained. Okay. Got it.
Now,
Now,
committee reports. Legislative liaison.
I'm gonna keep this brief. So, Mr. Bellman and myself and Mr. McClay had the pleasure of going down to Board Leadership Institute last week, and one of the sessions I attended was around legislative events and watches. So I'm just gonna give a couple of updates of some of the things that they brought to light, and then I guess I'm gonna keep this brief. So House Bill 126 is in full effect for the tax year of 2022. It puts the burden of taxpayers and restricts schools' ability to challenge property values.
yep,
Which is, this is gonna be a big hot button issue before it's all said and done. But,
It is.
it puts the ability to protect our tax base in jeopardy. And, so the treasurers are gonna have to actually reach out, is what we learned, to the auditor's office to see if any challenges to property value were made by owners, and they may have to be done to a public record request, which I found kind of fascinating. House Bill 529 is actually pending, and it will undo the burden on teachers that require districts that participate in College Credit Plus. We will have to upload student instruction items to website by July 1st each year, and those changes have to be continuously updated. So that's going to be fascinating to watch what happens with that. Senate Bill 23 is pending also, and it's where there'll be potentially cameras on buses to capture people who illegally pass buses. And let's see, a bill to watch in May is House Bill 583. It would extend the current temporary flexibility for school districts regarding education requirements of substitute teachers until June 30th of 2024. And one final item is Senate Bill 306 is also a bill to watch. It would establish a voluntary tutoring and remedial instruction program that public schools and charter non-public schools may choose to participate in by notifying the state superintendent of public instruction. The bill would require the ESC of Central Ohio to employ tutors and coordinate the placement of those tutors in participating schools. And the bill would also require 16 regional ESCs selected under the bill in conjunction with ESC of Central Ohio to administer the training for those said tutors. So, yeah, that's all coming down the pike. So, that concludes my legislative update.
One question I have.
I'll try to answer it.
No, it's, so the substitute,
Yes.
where that, is that where you don't have to have, because it's in place right now where you don't have to have a.
Yes. It could be, that's all about extending it out for 2 more years.
Okay,
That's
I
correct.
just,
It's all designed around helping with the substitute teacher shortage that we are currently experiencing. So,
yeah, I
yeah.
just wanted, okay, thank you.
Yep.
Finance Committee, that's Todd McClay. Okay, no, Todd and I met with Heather, on Thursday and Mr. Peterson on Thursday and went over the 5-year forecast. I'm not gonna try to even explain even a tenth of what went into this. But knowing, having an idea now is about the 5-year forecast actually will help, I think, myself especially, and I can relay information to those on the board that might have a question about stuff if you've not been on Finance Committee. So, other than that, that's kind of where that landed, so.
That was the big one.
Yep. Fredericktown Community Development Liaison.
Okay, we met Thursday in the morning at the Fredericktown's Council Chamber. Really nice, they remodeled it, fixed it up, I was very impressed by the office building there. Talked about catching up with some of the old stuff, there's a grant out there, working with the business people to work on the facade, to make this, the front of the buildings nicer. Grants, there's a time limit, they've contacted 60 owners already, just have to work around getting, if they're interested, get the grant, quotes and everything, paperwork filled out and all that stuff going. I believe now in July, our superintendent still has a job to do for the magazine to get out, you explain what's going on there?
It's in progress. We found out, and we really tried to reach out to our community to get their input in how it is best to communicate with our community.
Right.
Well, we tried mail with return envelope and all, well, they no longer are capable of doing that for us. And so we will put all that information in the July issue of the
43019 magazine.
43019 magazine. Often I call it the 2022 magazine. But anyhow, you will receive that, and I think most people either get that or we will have copies in several different locations that you can pick up. You can fill out the form, get it to us, and that's how we will try our best to communicate open and honestly with you in the future. So that's kind of where we're at, Mr. Falk.
I think it's a great magazine, I enjoy reading it, gets out to everybody in the community, so I think, thank them for doing that.
Yes.
Last thing I think is very important, or not very important, but a lot of you know Bill Whaley has been charged of the rec board for the past 34 years, he's
Yes.
retired. So on July 4th, between 2 and 4, You always know what happens July 4th here at Fredericktown out at Soccer Lake. We have the big party, big celebration out there. From 2 to 4, the green building back there, reception, stop by, get cake, congratulate Bill, and have fun. And that's my report.
Thank you, Mr. Falk. Administrative reports. Mr.
A
Gary.
couple things, first off, Mr. Peterson talked about the safety drill today. We did something a little different for a safety drill than we typically do. First off, we split the elementary from middle and high school. We actually wanted to do a scenario drill for really the first time. So I got on the speaker, and I said, hey, first I told students it was just a drill, but I said there's an intruder in the high school commons, act accordingly. So we had certain classrooms locking down, certain classrooms exiting the building, and the staff and students were wonderful. Nothing but praises from our SRO and from the fire and EMS individuals that were there. So it went off without a hitch. The other thing I'd really like to highlight tonight is today the state released the test results for math, science, and social studies. English comes out in June because there's a bunch of reading to do with the English. But if you really take a look at that list, we beat surpassed, I should say, the state average on proficient or better by 11% in every area we tested in. And traditionally, I want to point out math is one of the most difficult tests. Take a look at 6th grade math and 8th grade math over by 30% or more. Algebra, again, that includes 8th graders in that list. So our teachers are doing a great job. They are educating our students, and I think that is really evident by the 22-23 list of CCP students. If you take a look at that, that's over 25% of our high school taking college credit plus classes. So I just want to, publicly say hats off to the middle school and high school teaching staff. They really are doing an excellent job. A couple other things, just to highlight for you guys, the board. First off, tournaments are starting. Softball will be at home this Thursday night, and then next Thursday night is a really big night for the district. We have the baseball tournament, but we also have on the 19th the senior luncheon at New Life Community Church. That's at 12:30. Board members are welcome to that. So please, if you can come, let Mrs. Rule know, and we'll make sure we have a plate for you. The 19th, the baccalaureate senior awards start at 6:15, and then graduation May 20th, 7 p.m. Ask that you guys are there by 6:25, 6:30ish in the middle school, high school conference room. We typically walk out about 9:45, 10 and again, 24% chance of rain, so I'm saying 76% chance of sunshine right now. We will be walking out to the stadium there about 9:45, and again, we're gonna set it up like last year, since it was such a crowd was there. We'll do it down, towards the east end of the field, so that we have parents and family members on both sides, and also again on the football field.
Piggyback off some of the things that Brent said, safety drill went real well today. It was nice to do a scenario drill. We had toyed with the idea about doing it in the past, but we never could figure out how to do a K-12 drill. That was always my suggestion to first responders: break the building in half. Worked much better. A lot more realistic practice for the staff. We were able to get some good feedback from why certain teachers did what they did. Because they had to respond appropriately, not like robots. Testing wise, the elementary tests that we did receive the basics today. third grade, fourth grade, fifth grade math, and then also fifth grade science. Nothing really to slouch about. All of our test scores are above the state average. I'm not horribly concerned about any of the specific areas. We will need to do some tweakings with things. It is evident some of that learning loss that we've experienced. The third graders in particular, want to keep an eye on those kids going into fourth grade. And then next year, second graders going into third grade are the ones that were most impacted by being out of school. Highlight piece-wise, I do want to say fifth grade science did well above the state average at 82, and then fourth grade math, all four of the teachers worked well there together, got 89%, so that was nice there. You'll see in my board report, we do have lots of celebrations that revolve around PBIS, and our theme as far as citizenship, accountability, responsibility, and empathy. That's by design. We do that, our celebrations are around what we do as a building, the climate and culture of our building with PBIS, our positive behavior intervention supports. Couple highlights there, we do have our field day this Thursday the 12th, and on the 17th, if anybody would like to attend, we have our big recognition. It's right before school, 8 to 8:30. It's a quick celebration. We do like to make sure that we get parents included in that, and we'll have every staff member gets to nominate a kid. And over the years that they've had PBIS implemented, they have it documented which kids have received the awards, and we try to make sure we're equitable across the board with that. It's nice to get out and go on field trips again. They are always nicely done and well received by the students, and teachers always find a nice educational twist to take advantage of those opportunities. Staffing is complete for summer school. I'll be doing an orientation for folks who will be participating in summer school. We have probably our highest number ever, over 75 kids that will be participating in summer school alone. So I'm glad to see that. Kindergarten, I'm at 80 to 85, based on some last kids enrolling. They should easily fill 4 full classes, very full to the brim, and we'd expect some more over the summer too. So everybody has an idea what we're expecting there for the fall. Anybody have any questions for me?
That we had several enrollees this morning into kindergarten. One set of twins for sure.
I would expect 15 to 20 over the summer. That's what happened last year. We did about close to 90 last year and ended up, I don't know, Heather, what it is right now, 106, 105, 104, something.
It's 106.
106. So,
Thank you.
well,
Policy liaison, myself and Mrs. Gallagher.
We
nothing.
don't have anything.
We don't have anything because it's just, well,
Business advisory.
huh?
We're
I
happy
see,
right now.
I'm moving right on.
You can skip over me if you want, it's up to you.
I'm gonna get out of here.
Oh, no.
Business Advisory Council.
Short and sweet. Thank you, Paul.
Yeah.
Knox County Child Care Needs Assessment was done by the Area Development Foundation. They got 589 total responses. 92.3% of the respondents have found it difficult to find childcare, which isn't a shock to anyone. 55% of the respondents have considered leaving their current job due to childcare needs, and 58% of respondents have someone in their family who is unable to work full-time due to childcare demands. The big stat that they pointed out, there's approximately 1,822 new childcare spots needed right now in Knox County. So they are looking for solutions. You got a lot of info here. This is on the area development website as well. But a lot of childcare needs right now, and they are currently looking for solutions. That was something that was not heavily discussed They did bring up the issues with all the certifications and education you need to be a licensed childcare provider. Churches were brought up as far as using their facility. One of the things that I mentioned, you know, if you were to get a church to let you use that facility, you'd have to be really clear on, you know, the split. The church isn't running it, you're just using their facility. But I think there's the insurance piece, and there's a couple other legalities there involving that, but you already have the structures in place. Another thing that I think Andy Fox brought up in one of the meetings, Longenberger years ago, you know, they had a huge facility. They had a child care facility there at Longenberger. And one of the things I think has been thrown out in the mix is building a child care facility in Mount Vernon, in the industrial park. Somebody threw that idea out. I'm not saying that's happening, but somebody did throw that idea out. So, and getting companies to pitch in, and there's a lot to navigate there, but they're working on the solutions to this issue because it is a major issue in Knox County right now. And their focus is finding licensed professionals that have the right certifications and education to take their kids, not so much in home care with unlicensed professionals. So, a lot of good info.
Yeah, that's great, thank you for,
Yeah.
I feel kind of bad I
Thanks for
skipped you.
giving me a couple minutes to share that. I appreciate it.
You accept my apology. Thank you. It's, you need to get this like in jitterbug form so I can actually see this.
Okay.
You know, I'm just kidding, I gotta blame somebody.
Oh, you can blame me.
Oh, I'm just kidding, I'm just
You
messing.
can. It's all good.
Okay, FEA,
I'll speak.
yes.
Teresa could not be here, but she did send a 23-page document for me to go over.
Okay.
Just some highlights. We had Sunny Sips, Sharon called it beverage truck, we call it food truck. Smoothies for Member Appreciation Day. We had a night, Euchre night, got together with the staff and played some cards, that was fun. Teacher Appreciation Week, teachers had donuts given to them and some other small gifts. Big thank you to the board, those cakes were beautiful and they tasted wonderful. So I'm not sure if you got to see them, whoever did the cakes.
Spent a lot of time overnight getting those done.
The school colors, you nailed that, Nate. I had to start remembering them.
I tasted it.
Well, thank you so much. The staff definitely appreciated it.
She stopped it.
And just, we're wrapping up another year, obviously, and hopefully we're gonna end it smoothly and a lot of great memories. So that's all I have.
Thank you.
If I may add, Teresa's mother's in the hospital. Teresa's been out of school for a few days, and they have a mother down at James. But I would ask with the other prayers that we've been asked to say, I would ask that we all keep Teresa's mother in our thoughts and prayers. Thank you.
OC update.
We're just looking forward to the end of the school year. It's been a long year. And I myself am looking forward to summer school, so it'll be short, sweet, and fun, so.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Good deal, thank you. Anything else? Motion to adjourn? So moved.
Second.
Mr. Folk?
Yes.
Mrs. Gallagher?
Yes.
Mr. Bellman?
Yes.
Mr. Napier?
Yes.
6:55.